Some things you don't figure out until it's almost too late to do anything with them. I'm 87 years old, and I can tell you that the hardest lessons I ever learned didn't come from the big moments. They came from the quiet ones, the ones I didn't pay attention to. I was married to a woman named Tracy. And in the beginning, we were the kind of couple that made other people a little uncomfortable, honestly. We did everything together: grocery runs, hardware store, pottery class we didn't need. She'd ride with me just to be in the same car. I stood outside fitting rooms holding her purse and didn't think twice about it. We watched the same movie so many times I could say the lines before the actors did. It wasn't anything special. It was just ours. Then we got busy, or that's what I told myself. She started staying late at work. I missed a lunch here, then another. She was wearing perfume on a Tuesday for no reason I could name. And instead of asking her about it, I got quiet. I pulled back. Like if she wanted space, I could want space too. I thought that was dignity. Looking back now, that was just pride. And pride is a lonely place to live. Here's something I didn't understand then. When two people stop talking honestly, that empty space doesn't stay empty. It fills up with something. Work, resentment, distraction. Sometimes another person. I knew something was wrong before I knew his name. Then I learned it. Michael, a man from her office. They hadn't crossed every line yet, but they were having lunch every day, holding hands, building something together that should have been ours. The physical part they'd planned for later, that hurt. But what really got me was knowing she'd already given away the quiet, ordinary parts. The attention, the conversation, the feeling of being chosen by somebody. That's what a marriage actually runs on, and I hadn't been feeding it. And before I go further, let me thank this channel for letting an old man speak plainly for a minute. If these hard-earned stories mean something to you, subscribe and stay close. Some lessons come easier when they're spoken by somebody who paid for them. I was sitting at the kitchen table that evening with a bottle of wine and 2 glasses when she came in through the garage. She looked at me and knew right away something had changed. I told her I wanted a divorce before she could say anything. I told her we hadn't fallen apart in one night. We'd let go slowly, a little at a time, and I'd watched it happen and done nothing. She cried. She denied some of it. Then she admitted enough. She told me she felt empty. She said he made her feel seen. And I was so angry I could barely sit still, but even then I heard something in what she said that I had to own. She told me about lunches she'd tried to keep that I'd brushed off. Conversations she'd stopped trying to have because I wasn't really there. Nights she thought I didn't want her anymore because I'd gone cold instead of just telling her I was hurting. None of that excused what she did. I want to be clear about that. But it taught me something I needed to know. Silence lets people make up their own story. And the stories they make up are usually worse than the truth would have been. I filed for divorce. For a while we were headed there. The judge suggested counseling before anything was final, and I said yes, partly because I still loved her under all that hurt and embarrassment. There were no big moments in that office, no speeches. Just 2 people telling the truth out loud, maybe for the first time in years. She left that job. I stopped hiding behind my quiet. We started doing small things together again on purpose. Coffee in the morning, an actual lunch, not 2 phones at a table, a drive with no place to be. Hand on her arm in the hallway. Nothing dramatic. But that's where it lives, the real stuff. In the small things. A marriage either gets fed there or it starves there. And then one night, a few years later, we were on the couch with popcorn and a blanket, and she told me I was going to be a father. I sat there and I thought about how close I'd come to losing not just her, but everything that came after. That's something you don't fully understand when you're young. You think the damage is just what happened. You don't see what would never have existed if you'd let the break become final. So let me tell you what I wish somebody had told me when I was still young enough to use it. Betrayal usually doesn't start where you think it does. It starts with two people getting comfortable with silence, with not asking the real questions, with assuming the other person knows how you feel because they used to. Pride sounds a lot like self-respect when you're in the middle of it, but it isn't. It's just a way of not admitting you're hurt. And if forgiveness comes, take it seriously. Don't just smooth over the old damage and expect it to hold. You have to rebuild slowly, where both people can see it's real. Most of all, don't wait. Not until things calm down. Not until the next argument blows over. Not until you have more time. Because time doesn't give back what pride wastes. The person next to you right now at the table, in the car, in the middle of some ordinary Tuesday evening, that's where it either holds together or quietly falls apart. I'm 87. I know how that sounds, an old man telling you things you've probably heard before. But I paid for this one. So if it landed somewhere, give this video a like, subscribe, and stay close. And if somebody you know is sitting in that silence right now, share this with them. It might mean more than you think.